family, it's Lotus here from Lotus Holistic Healing. Welcome back if you've seen my videos before, and if you're new here, please subscribe to see more videos on gardening, holistic health, and spirituality. Our crow friend up there is saying hello to everybody. Alright, so it's been a while. You guys last saw me at the beginning of May, and I'm going to try to do these videos monthly. So let's show you guys what's growing on. Right here is one of my favorite things that we're growing right now. This is the 1500-year-old cave bean. Last month, when I last did the videos, I had just planted them, and they've done all this growing taller than me. Now, I'm not very tall, I'm 5'2", but they're taller than me already, which is amazing. They outgrew the poles that I had here at first, so we found this 2x4 in the woods and just put it up there. And I'm gonna do a video later on pruning, but right here we did some pruning. So we just pruned off those lower leaves. And here we have a bush bean. This bush bean is called golden butterwax bean. And we've got some flowers going on. Beautiful little white flowers. Really pretty. We'll have beans on there in a couple weeks, which I'll be really excited for. They're bushing, so they're not going to climb up the pole. They'll just stay that height. And some other things we've got that I'm very excited for. This is our Trinidad scorpion pepper right here. This is an extremely hot pepper. And we have two dragon tongue bush beans growing right behind. They're going to have a beautiful, it's like pink and yellow striped bean on there. And what beans do for the plants is they fix nitrogen. They pull that nitrogen in from the air and they fix it into the soil. And that'll help feed this guy right here. What we had growing here were some toothache plants, but the squirrels got into them, which I have to put some cayenne pepper in there, but that's what this is. This little orange powder along here, along our hottest pepper in the world, the Carolina Reaper pepper. We've got the cayenne pepper to keep the squirrels out, and right down here we have our baby toothache plants, or spilanthes. So those guys have been used for dental health, abscesses, to ease pain. Oh, we have a wasp right next to us. Our camera girl's gonna run away. Okay, and Jessica, my sis, is on the camera, but wow, he is very close to us. Anywho, there's our toothache plant, and since the other guys outgrew their pole and I don't have any more 2x4s in the woods, I just tied up some of the regular poles together with twine, tied it really tight, stuck one in there, and this will be used for another bean that we're going to grow. So this is that 1500-year-old cave bean right there. And in the pot that the wasp is in that we're not going to get close to right now, that has our toothache plant. So let's see, since our wasp wants to invade, we're going to come over here and look at the big planter before we get to the other things. So right along the back we have a whole bunch of pole beans. This is that 1500-year-old cave bean. These guys are my hyacinth bean, and they're going to climb. I think what I'm going to do is tie strings from the top to them so that they can climb on the strings, and I can trellis some other things like okra and what's called the Mother Mary pie melon, which is a really nice tiny melon, onto there. And we've also got Mongolian sunflowers growing back there. So here's a Mongolian sunflower. Here's one. Those guys can get, I believe it's over 15 feet tall. They're insanely tall. They're going to be up at our neighbor's house. But those are going to be crazy. And they have over inch-long sunflower seeds. Very excited about that. I don't know how well they'll do back here, but we'll see. Speaking of sunflowers, up here, super tall, are our sunchokes. So sunchokes are a Maryland native sunflower. They're going to have a beautiful little flower. It's a lot smaller than the sunflower, and you don't get edible seeds from it, but it's really pretty. But the reason that people love these, and the reason I love them, is the roots. Deep under there, they have what are called sunchokes. You may have seen those at the grocery store. They kind of taste like an artichoke, and they come from the native sunflower roots, so they're called a sunchoke. They are delicious. Really strong tubers. It's like a potato thing that tastes like an artichoke. It's delicious. Right here we've got corn growing. So this is kind of another experiment thing, this corn. It is Hopi turquoise corn. It's a very beautiful corn that's really pretty turquoise color, grown by the Hopi Native Americans. It's a nice heirloom crop. And we've got an auroch growing right here. It's a nice little green veggie. He's been shaded out by our sunchokes. And it looks like the slugs have kind of gotten on them, but we've got wasabi radish. They'll be okay. It's just the cotyledon, the first leaf, not the true leaves that got it, so that's fine. We've got those wasabi radishes. They take up to like a year, or you can just eat the leaves. We'll see what happens with them. It's kind of a fun experiment. These are our cardoons. These guys are also cardoons. We're gonna thin them out. Not everybody's gonna make it. The little guys are starting to get a little eaten up by some of the squirrels, so I gotta get that cayenne pepper there too. This is a pole bean that I don't know how he got in this pot, but I'm gonna stick him on a string and tie him up to there. Down here, oh actually in the back, so let's see how I'm gonna get over there. We've got a cushaw squash. This guy all the way back here. That produces a beautiful long-necked green and white striped squash. Those are gonna be cool. This little guy down here is a cushaw as well. I had a mirror set up to get more light onto the plant so it would reflect the sun, and it fell onto this guy. I had to take some leaves off, so he might actually get replaced with a different squash plant. It's also a transplant, so they don't always grow as strong. And here is a little watermelon plant we've got going. That one was transplanted, so watermelons and squash don't really like to be transplanted, so I think I'm going to replace her with some sugar baby bush watermelon seeds. They're smaller, and the vines will be smaller, so we'll have more space in here. Let's see what else we got. Our herbs are doing really well. So these 3 pots right here are all my different herbs. And that one we've got yarrow, we've got some calendula, and there's some tiny little lobelia seeds just starting out, and I think some St. John's wort, possibly. All of these were planted at the beginning of May. This is borage right here. This is also borage. It produces a beautiful purple-blue flower that comes up, and the bees love it. It also helps the bees produce more honey and higher quality honey. We've got lots of basil growing in here. We've got purple basil, we've got that sweet basil. We've got hummingbird mint and hyssops growing in there, and I also just planted like 2 little carrots in the back. They're the cosmic purple carrot from Baker Creek Seeds. Those would be cool. I'm gonna grab our lettuce leaf basil to show you guys. Our little wasp friend is still hanging out right next to it, so let's just bring this over. These are really cool. After the cave beans, I think this is the second thing I'm most excited about. This is lettuce leaf basil, and you'll see it's like a curly basil. These leaves are gonna get over 5 or 6 inches long. They can get longer than that. They're great for lettuce, salad wraps, used like lettuce, great in salads, or wrap up like a, what's it called? I don't know, whatever it's called when you use lettuce to make a burrito. And we've got, let's see, tomatillos. The aphids got to them a bit, but I released ladybugs, which should help. I think the ladybugs got most of the aphids. Oh no, that's just part of the plant. Okay, yeah. So that's tomatillo. It's purple Coban tomatillo, so that's a purple tomatillo that's an heirloom variety from somewhere in South America. I forget exactly where. And we've got some more. Okay. These 2 guys in the back are some more of those purple Coban tomatillos. And in the front we have some, what are they called? I think it's called pink bumblebee cherry tomatoes. So those will be some mini tomatoes in the front, and they'll be pink striped. And we've got calendula flowers in there, which will help attract pollinators, and they will also help keep away some pests. The tomatoes actually didn't even get touched by those aphids. They just went straight for those tomatillos. Right here, oh yeah, next to the other tomatillo, I know this looks a little crazy. I've been eating the arugula. There were more in here. I've eaten pretty much all of it and pretty much all the cilantro, but it's delicious. I really like the flowers as well. So we're gonna just finish them up right now, and we will put this into the compost later. I just planted some more cilantro in here. and some, I think 2 carrots in there. We'll see what happens with the carrots. I didn't check if it's the right season and all for them, but I like to take chances sometimes. So right down here is our cilantro plant, which has bolted. When a green plant bolts, that means it's going to start going towards seed. We've got seeds right here. But what's cool about cilantro is when it starts going to seed, the seeds are what you get coriander from. So we'll have a delicious seed to crunch up, and I'll use that for some cooking. This empty pot right here, I'm either going to put sugar baby bush watermelon or what's it called, buttercup squash in there. Buttercup squash has a delicious chestnut flavor. So we'll do one of those two. That'll be really fun. I'm trying to see if there's anything you guys haven't seen. We got our stinging nettle is pretty much towards the end of its time. I'm going to harvest that while we make some tea. And I'm going to use the roots to make medicine as well, which will be cool. I'm going to use the roots for like a men's health prostate medicine. Maybe I'll do another video specifically on that, but I'm just talking about the herbs. Let's see. Okay, I know this looks a little ugly, but I allowed the caterpillars to stay. If you look under the leaf right here, I'm gonna get stung holding this, but there's one of the caterpillars, and the butterflies will come out. The caterpillars have only gone on this plant. There's 3 in here. They like to camouflage, but since they just stayed on here, I just let them stay. It'll be cool to watch them make their chrysalis and become butterflies, so they can eat that. And our winter crops are pretty much done. The snow pea was a winter crop that when I replanted my my big garden bed, I just stuck it in here to see if it would do something, and it had snap peas the last 2 weeks we were getting them. So it's pretty much done now. I'm gonna drill some holes in this here, and we're gonna put potatoes in there and sweet potatoes, so we'll have some yummy root crops. Since it's deep, the roots have space. Our marigolds are coming out. Marigolds are helpful to keep away pests, and they're really pretty. I've got a bunch of my little seed start containers that I'm going to put a bunch of like marigolds, calendula flowers in. And let's see if there's anything else you guys haven't seen. Oh, my rue and my sage are just doing wonderfully. I grabbed them. These are great magical and medicinal herbs, and I mentioned a couple medicinal herbs, so if you're going to work with herbs, please work with a professional, and if you're on medications, talk to your doctor about any herbs before you want to start taking them. But yeah, so here's that sage, which is just a wonderful culinary herb and great for the respiratory system, great for the blood, great for women's health. Here's our rue right here. Helpful for women's health. In magic, rue is used for fertility and protection as well. We've got some sort of volunteer something growing in there. Maybe it's a tree. I don't know. Probably have to pull him out. My salvia is doing wonderfully. She is beautiful. There's an oak tree growing with her. I need to take out the old seeds, like save them, but she just went to flower again. These are her flowers. And they'll have seeds shortly. Oh, they've already got some seeds forming. So that's her second time going to seed this season. Alright, I think we got one more thing to show you guys, 1 or 2 more things you haven't seen. Over here, our wasp is still there. I'll just grab it. Marshmallow and bee balm. So bee balm is also known as hummingbird mint or bergamot. We've got, or bergamot. Hummingbird mint is in the same family, but that's something else. These are that bergamot bee balms. They're going to be gorgeous. Big, purple, showy flowers. Amazing for pollinators. Great for butterflies, hummingbirds, bees. Right here is our marshmallow, which we will harvest for the root. Marshmallow is going to be a great demulcent and cooling herb, and it tastes really good as well. It's a very sweet as in like starchy herb. I love to add them to blends. Marshmallow is closely related to okra, which we actually have growing back there too. We got some okra going up our trellis system. And some random things. We've got, trying not to disturb our wasp friend, but we've got some cucumbers that I left in the seed starts They don't really like to be transplanted to begin with, but they've gotten big. They were going to be given away to friends, and they're starting to get their little flower bulbs, so we're just not going to mess with them, and as an experiment, see what happens with cucumbers in going to fruit in these little containers. So, let's see. I think that's about everything I wanted to show you guys. If you have questions, I'll try to get to them. Just leave them in the comments. I know I'm notorious for not checking my comments, but oh well, we'll see. And I'm gonna try to do another one of these in a month, maybe sooner if things start to change, or maybe if when those beans start producing, we'll do something. And I want to do a video on our, once the back beans start to go up, we're gonna do a video on pruning them. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Peace, love you family. Take care. Mwah.